Solectrac electric tractors are clean, quiet, zero-emission alternative to diesel tractors. Now, the tractors can be charged with renewable energy like wind and solar and provide all of the power of a comparable diesel tractor. So with me to explain more about the company is Steve Heckeroth, who is the CEO and founder of the company. Steve, it's great to have you here today.
Thanks so much for having me.
And we were talking a little bit before the interview about how you seem to be in the right place at the right time, but you've been working at this for 30 years. So
yeah, I grew up in Southern California in the 50s when the smog was so bad that you couldn't see across the street sometimes. And so I ran track and cross country along a freeway and kind of ruined my lungs. So when I got to college, the first Earth Day in 1970, I decided to dedicate my life to finding alternatives to burning fossil fuel. Electric cars, the battery weight, back then it was lead acid batteries, and the battery weight was the biggest issue. But with tractors, they need weight for traction. So they're ideal electric vehicles. And electric motors have maximum torque at very low speeds that tractors go. So they're just perfect in every way. Quiet, don't need to idle.
Well, and you've got two tractors, right? So tell me about those.
Yeah, we've started selling tractors about, well, I've been doing it for almost 30 years, but we really got into sales a couple of years ago. Sold our first one to a guy in Canada. It's called the e-Utility, and it's about a 40 horsepower equivalent. It has everything. It looks just like an old Ford tractor, except it's got the diesel engine removed and electric components put in. So it's quiet. It can go very slow. It has a 3-point hitch, just like a regular tractor and a PTO. So it can take any standard implements.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was telling you a little bit how I grew up on a farm. I'm sure they smell better too, because there was some exhaust with the diesel tractors.
Oh yeah, there's no exhaust, which is, as I have a homestead and I use tractors a lot. Back in the day when I was working on building the homestead, and it's just constant maintenance, and the exhaust just made me sick. So yeah, it's a big difference.
So what kind of infrastructure would a farmer need if they want to make this transition?
All you need is like a dryer plug. It's a 220 outlet for fast charging. You can charge off a regular plug, but it takes a lot longer. Or you can have a renewable energy system, like a solar array or a wind system, and charge directly and have a totally zero emission farm.
Now, apart from the zero emissions, I'm sure there are other benefits as well to a renewable energy tractor. Tell me about those.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about them. The noise, when I take them out to harvest or transplant, they can go so slow you can hardly see the wheels moved, which is really important for transplanting. And it's the first time that the people working have been able to talk to each other, because the constant idling of diesel tractors is about 95 decibels, and you can't even hear yourself talk, much less talk to anybody else. And with electric, you're only using energy when you're actually doing work. So like in a harvest situation in the vineyards, you pull forward for about 10 seconds and use energy, and then you just park for about 10 minutes and you don't use any energy at all while they fill the bins. So you can actually run for a week on a battery pack under those conditions, because 10 seconds every 10 minutes is not much compared to a diesel, which is idling all day long. Electric motors only have one moving part. and they're about 95% efficient. Diesel engines, of course, have about 300 moving parts, and they require constant maintenance.
Very interesting. Now, you recently got an investment from Ideonomics, and tell me about that. How did you come together with Ideonomics? What are they looking for?
Ideonomics is an ideal partner because they're working in the electric vehicle space, and they actually put $2.6 million into our company, which is going to help us grow pretty fast. And they're more like a partner than just an investor. They're helping us out with China connections. I get the batteries from China, and I haven't been able to really check them out. So now I've got some eyes on the ground over there. So they're going to help in a lot of different ways.
Now, you mentioned a new vehicle. So talk about that a little bit, your product pipeline.
Yeah, I didn't really finish talking about the two that we have. The second one is a compact electric tractor. It's about half the size of the utility vehicle, and it's a four-wheel drive. It's perfect for small farms, hobby farms, greenhouses where you can't have emissions. And then horse arenas, anything around livestock where noise can spook the horses, or it actually affects their lungs as well as ours. So the new tractor that we're working on, that I have been working on a long time, it's called the E-Farmer, and it's specifically made for row crops. It's patterned after the tractors that were made in the 50s before they just started spraying everything. They used to cultivate, and it's got a mid hitch and a front hitch and a rear hitch. Mid hitch is for cultivation, so you can see what you're doing in front of you. The compact electric tractor is about $25,000 base price. The e-utility is about $45,000 base price, and the E-Farmer will probably be about $50,000. The E-Farmer we expect to have out next year sometime.
And how has the pandemic impacted your business?
Well, it's had a pretty big impact because we rely on the global supply chain, and that's been pretty disrupted. So just as orders were starting to come in, faster and faster, is when the supply chain, particularly from India, where they've had a lot of COVID cases, was slowed down quite a bit. So fortunately, our customers are people who want to see a better future, and they're willing to wait for their electric tractors when they come in. So it hasn't had a huge impact, but it's been difficult.
So what's your goal? You've got the partnership now with Ideonomics, and how does 2021 look for you?
It looks really great. The orders are pouring in now that we're getting out there in the news. The hardest part has been just getting the idea that electric tractors exist. As soon as somebody hears about it, they say, well, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But they just haven't. 5 years ago, I was the only one in the world building them. Now they're starting to take off. So I think it's going to be a really good year.
Well, I hope so. It's been a pleasure, Steve, to talk to you. And I just think farmers are great. So I grew up in a family of farmers, and I really appreciate what you do, and best of luck to you.
Thank you very much.